So what scares you?
What scares me?
What scares me most?
What scares me most is...
What scares me the most?
I think the thing that scares me most is, I think it's the same with most people. It's, probably fear of death.
You get roughed up a bit. I'm not making a comedy. This is, some hardcore shit.
It's a very wrong script. I mean, it is about the most amoral, grossest script I've ever read. The monsters in Wrong Turn 2 are of our own creation, and that's what makes this kind of a delicious script.
I was sitting there going, this is almost unfilmable. This is messed up. They need someone who is equally messed up to bring this to life, you know? So, you know, I'm sorry, other eyeliner? Son of a bitch! You're fired!
Oh, Joe, what? Joe's nuts.
Joe came in, looked at me, put his hands together and said, I grew up on Freddy's Nightmares. And I thought, boy, did you have a sick childhood.
He knows the horror genre better than anyone I've ever met.
First-time directors, they're one of two things. They're either really nervous and trepidatious, or they're like Joe, who's just like, fuck it, we're gonna jump off the cliff, and let's hope there's water there, and we'll swim. If not, okay, we'll break our legs, but then we'll just bandage them up and we'll keep going.
I really like to be around people who are intense, have a lot of energy and enthusiasm for what they're doing.
Making horror movies.
Thankfully, we have this amazing director who has this abnormal amount of energy, which is, it's fantastic and very infectious.
I can't believe this is his first movie. I'm really shocked.
What scares me? Lack of employment. Being in my line of work between jobs, I'm essentially unemployed. I hate that feeling.
Henry Rollins, where do I begin? Let me count the ways.
It was pointless talking to anybody else, because Henry was Dale.
He's got an amazing attitude, you know, he's genuine on set, you know, he's not a douche.
Once we were able to tell other agents that Henry Rollins had already been cast, lots of people came along and were really interested, and one of them was Erica Learson.
I have gained even more of an affinity for the horror genre, having been in them. And they're basically dramas that are sort of edgy, you know? And so to me, it's a great chance to do dramatic stuff.
She's a stage-trained actor from the East Coast who brings to her character tremendous depth. She's never just somebody who does stupid things, yells, and gets killed. We also cast Alexa Palladino as her partner in the game. And Alexa, oddly enough, also has experience in East Coast drama.
I had never done something like it. I was actually really nervous about being covered in blood. But yeah, it's fun. It's probably the most fun I've ever had on a set.
We then went after Steve Braun to play the part of an asshole, basically.
I can't even move. I'm so stuffed, sex is gonna have to wait. Shit, ghost.
Now, what's interesting about Steve Braun is, here's a philosophy major from the University of Toronto, which is basically the Canadian equivalent of Harvard. And he's playing an extreme athlete, skateboarder, who is basically a jerk-off.
People are complicated, and I'm an asshole. I'm also a very sweet man, but I'm also an asshole. To say that one person, oh, he's very sweet, he's very intellectual, he's very smart. Look, we're all complicated people, and that's what makes acting great, is that we get to explore all those sides of us.
Read the script, so I get towards the end, I'm still alive. The black man is still alive. So I figure, hey, I'm living, and I'm the hero. If I didn't get it, I was gonna be pissed.
I've done so many horror films, and I love them because it gives me some way to die in a new way. And to me, that's really fun. It's something I want to tell my grandkids, hey, I've died in every single way, and I'm still living.
I called my acting mentor, and I called her up, and I said, I just got cast in this movie, and I was wondering if you could coach me. And she said, what's the part? And I said, well, he's a guy who loves film, and he's a film director, and he's directing this thing. And she's like, are you kidding me? You could play that in your sleep.
Yes, so I'm playing myself. I'm playing Kimberly Calder, but I'm definitely playing the the diva, mad version of myself.
The character wasn't written as Kimberly Caldwell. The character had a different name at first. And Fox and Joe and I talked about it, and we thought, well, maybe she'd like to play herself in this.
You know, I've been a singer and a host for a long time now, and I didn't know if I'd ever get that chance, and so I'm so excited to be a part of this.
It's a hell of an entrance to movies. You know, not many other people get axed in half, top to bottom, but that's only the tip of the iceberg for poor Kimberly.
What scares me most is the dark. My imagination just has always been like that. It runs with the idea that I could be attacked at any moment. I can't explain that.
Fuck you!
What we were looking for was increasingly darker and deeper woods. As they get more and more lost and more sucked into this kind of nightmare, we chose Vancouver's location for Wrong Turn 2, even though Wrong Turn 1 was shot in the woods outside of Toronto. It's more treacherous and a lot more threatening environment. We're sitting here at Bunsen Lake, which is where things like Lake Placid and Freddy vs. Jason was shot.
When I was 7 years old, I came to a Camp Howdy. One night, we had an overnight hike, and we trekked over the mountain to the foot of Bunsen Lake, this lake that I'm looking at right now. And that was the first time I ever saw Bunsen Lake, and it was the last time I saw it until yesterday when I arrived here 53 years later. And I swear to God, it hasn't changed a bit.
We have waterfalls, we have streams, we have rapids, we have lakes in this picture, and you don't find that kind of terrain in eastern Canada.
The big concern with shooting in Vancouver in the summer is the amount of daylight versus the amount of nighttime. One of the scripted elements, the auto graveyard, was an exterior outdoor element. One of the first thoughts I had was that we should move the auto graveyard indoors. That allows us to control the lighting, and therefore we can shoot during the day as opposed to trying to squeeze it into the 4 or 5 hours of darkness that we've got in the middle of summer here in Vancouver. So this particular set, the auto graveyard, was where I thought it stood the greatest chance of setting a real tone. We got 66 vehicles inside an old iron factory, and you know, anybody that's walked in has shook their head and said, how did you do that? And it's just being resourceful.
What scares me the most? Not succeeding. That's what scares me the most in life. If I don't do that, I'm pretty upset. And heights. Heights scare me too, but that's a totally different thing.
One of the key elements that I had from the beginning was I needed a DP that could allow me to go where I needed to go. I come from the Sam Raimi school of the camera can go anywhere, the camera can do anything. I mean, we searched far and wide for someone that I know we found it in Robin Lowen. He never told me no, he told me no problem. And at the same time, serving my crazy shots, like I want it to spin 180 degrees and go up someone's butt, you know? And he's like, what would the f-stop be up there? He brought a nice balance between blood and beauty, you know, and that was so important.
Spiders scares me. Mosquitoes, I don't like mosquitoes. Me and heights, we don't get along. And I guess a little bit of monsters. Is that normal? I believe that's normal though.
Underneath it all, horror fans are different than every other fan because they look for a different kind of experience in the theater or watching a DVD. They look for a release, and they look to exercise their own demons and their own fears somehow, because horror is a really marvelous genre to do that.
I wanted to make the definitive Fango fan film, you know, or like the definitive horror fan film. One that, you know, every horror fan can go, I want to tell my buddies about this.
What validates all of the revolting aspects of this movie is the humanity in it. That these are real people in real situations, and you care about these people. You can take as much liberty with disgusting imagery as you can. And that's the great thing about it, and that's what we're doing.
A movie at its best is a visceral experience that moves you to tears, to laughter, to fear, to anger, to outrage sometimes, but has to move you.
See the goddamn movie. Coming soon. Should be out now. So, wait, you have it. So why aren't you watching? Listen to the commentary, because I have a lot of funny shit that I'm saying. Right now. Flip to this, or go to the special feature. Now! God damn it.